uses diesel locomotives. The red cars were electric, and they started in 1901 and ran until 1961. A lot of the old roadbed that the Metrolink uses was Pacific Electric roadbed. Wow. These are the biggest ones that they're ever built in America, and certainly the biggest ones that Pacific Electric used. These had a nickname, they called them blimps due to their size. Carry about 80 people. Big, big cars. So we're going to walk over this way.
Come on, Teddy. Come on, Joe.
That's streetcars, that's all.
Come on, kiddo.
This is our postal car, representing how the mail was carried across America for like 100 years. By 1970, all this rail service was gone, and everything went on airplanes. But this is how it was carried for like 100 years. And a lot of the little towns, they wouldn't stop. It wasn't practical to stop for a few pieces of mail. So it was hung up in a bag like that. And then there's a metal arm that hangs on the side of the car, and the employee inside will kick the arm out and catch the bag, and that's how they get it inside. And that's how they sort it. And the outgoing mail was in a bag, and they would just kick it out the door onto the platform as they went through town.
Wow.
So hopefully you weren't getting any glass in your mail.
Wow, that's so crazy.
Probably once a week they would have to stop for fragile stuff and maybe something big.
Yeah.
Okay, another steam engine. The difference between this one and the ones that we saw in the other building is it's bigger, but also it's an operating engine. It will fire up and pull full of train, and we do that once a month with it on the third weekend of the month. Now I should change that and say that's what we have done. I think I mentioned, I'm not sure if I did, this one has to be torn down for its annual 15-year inspection. So it's going to be a huge project, cost the museum about $200,000.
Wow.
And it's going to take between 4 and 5 years to complete it. Wow. So we're not going to have a steam engine after October. We will not have a steam engine for probably 5 years.
So that you will fire this up a couple more times before.
Yeah, September and October is the race.
Is it really loud?
No, not really. The whistle is loud, steam whistle. But, you know, it makes a lot more noise than a diesel locomotive. So that's the neat thing about it. This is one of our most popular items, obviously. It was built in 1922. The museum acquired it in the mid-70s. All right, I have it. The cab is lit up if you want to go up and actually look at the inside of it.
Wow. Teddy, come on, let's go inside.
You get it, okay?
Yeah.
You go inside and shoot you.
Come on, Jojo. Josephine. Come on, babe. Josie.
Now, all these old steam engines burn coal to make the fire, but this one, before we bought it, was converted to run on diesel fuel. So there's no coal for this one. It's got 1,000 gallons of diesel fuel in that big center tank.
In here.
Yeah.
Wow, look at this. Eddie, look how big this is, the engine.
So they just stand up here to see?
Yep, the engineer is on the right.
Here, okay.
The fireman is on the left.
Okay.
And that's your basic crew on here.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they just look through, yeah?
Yeah, you got a little forward vision, and also the engineer can stick his head out the window to see forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Unless it's a cab forward. They built steam engines with the cab on the front. They would call it cab forward. And that was because this kicks out a lot of smoke and steam and everything, and it's coming back into the people in the cab.
Yeah.
Particularly when you go through a tunnel.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So they've changed the design and put the cabs up forward and eliminated that problem.
Got it.
But there's not that many cab forwards. 99% of steam engines are built on this structure.
My grandfather was born in 1921. He just turned 100 this year. So it's just
Still with you, huh?
He is,
Ah.
yeah. So it's just interesting to see, like, this is something that was like,
Yeah, it was built 20 years after he was born.
that's wild, you know? And so the mail system, you said, where did this from?
They founded this system in the 1870s,
Okay.
and it ran until roughly 1970, almost 100 years. And this is how the mail got transported around the country. They didn't have airplanes. Of course, they had the Pony Express before they had the railroad. But once they had the railroad, the Pony Express was done away with, and mail traveled on cars like this. This car last carried the mail between Los Angeles and Kansas City. And there were over 4,000 of these cars running around America every day carrying mail when it was popular. We can look at the inside, we go up the ladder down.
Come on, Ted.
Okay, we're gonna go inside.
This is incredible.
The mail cart.
Yeah, oh my husband, my grandfather, you know, to see how like transportation has changed over the 100 years, you know.
Oh, it's blows your mind to think about it, you know.
Yeah.
When he was born, there was still horse and buggies.
Totally.
Yeah.
And now, yeah.
Even just my parents, my father was born in 1911 and my mother was born in 1907, I think it was. So they experienced all that stuff too.
I'll get you now.
Oh, you jumped.
It's a post office on wheels, what it is.
That is so stinking cool. That is so beautiful.
These were good paying jobs, they were in demand.
Thank you.
But they also, it's like aircraft crews, you're away from home about half the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. We restored this in the 90s. An average of 13 employees per car. But also at its peak, there were 30,000 postal employees just working on rail service. They didn't all work in the cars, but they were related to the rail service.
So was the engine owned by the Postal Service as well?
No, and neither was the car. The car was owned, but this one was owned by the Santa Fe system,
Okay.
and they leased it to the government. That's how it worked. Yeah.
Watch out, come on.
All right, we're going to walk aft through our 1956 Pullman Sleeping Car.
Okay. Oh, that's so cool.
Another example of how people traveled
Toilet.
back in the day before airplanes became so popular.
Careful, son. Look at that, that's a toilet.
Yeah.
A lavatory.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bye.
This end of the car has the little roomettes for one person only.
Okay.
There's 6 of them.
That is so cool.
Look, Teddy, they had sleep here.
Got a message from that phone call I didn't answer.
That is so cool.
Teddy.
Yeah.
Look at temperature control.
Did you sleep?
The center of the car has 4 large compartments.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Were these air conditioned or is it just fans?
Yes, this car was air conditioned.
Oh, wow.
So someone could sleep on top in these.
Right, you have a bunk that folds to the ceiling during the day,
Okay.
and then of course the bottom seat makes into a bed.
Okay. Wow.
This, if you couldn't afford a private compartment down there,
Yeah.
you had this available to you.
Okay.
This is what they call open sleeping, because all you have is a curtain for privacy like this.
Okay.
And bed's folded to the ceiling during the day, and at night, the
This.
porter assigned to the car at night, he will open up the bed, hang up your curtain, makes up the bottom seats into a bed, and installs a step ladder for the upper bunk person to get in and out of bed. And then in the morning, you'll go down to the dining car for breakfast. You'll turn it back to daytime use like this.
Wow.
Yeah. So these were cheaper than the compartments, of course. These are the last cars built with this type of accommodation. After 1956, everything was built with only private compartments.
Come here, sweetie.
I like that. Wow. You ready? Do you need help? Let me hold your
The
hand.
mechanics and there are people that come and work on these things to get paid or
Well,
volunteer.
we have 1,500 dues-paying members, and out of that, we have about 100 to 140 who are active volunteers who come and do all the work, like myself. We're all volunteers. And we have, when you come by on a Saturday or a Sunday, you'll see people working in here. During the week, not much, particularly in the summer, because my gosh, by 2 o'clock it's 105 in here. But weekends is when the work gets done, and then in the summer, not as much as in the winter. All right, we're going to walk further down.
We gotta go down.
I guess that would be cool, wouldn't it? I mean, I know how to do it, so. That'd be something cool to take pity on as I get older.
Most of the stuff we own is Southern California or Western railroading. We own 2 foreign streetcars. This is one of them. This came from Ireland. In 1959, we purchased this after it had been in service for like 58 years. This was built in 1901, making it one of the oldest streetcars we own. And it's made out of wood, as I mentioned earlier. Wood was the main thing in that era. It carries 37 people upstairs, 30 people inside. Pardon? Well, Cape Ireland speaking. Yeah. Now the other one we own is Japanese. You'll see that in the next building, and everything in it is written in Japanese.
So 37 on top, 30 on the bottom.
You can go inside if you like. It's a very attractive car inside.
You want to go inside? Oh yeah, you just sit down. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. Very, very, the workmanship is good in there. Yeah.
And what's the significance?
That's for water drainage, is the best I can determine. It rains a lot in Ireland, and that would enable the water to drain out easily.
Okay. Come on. Beautiful. John, don't let him go too far. Come on.
Now, we own about 13 cabooses. This is one of them.
Oh, okay. Hey, honey, can you catch him?
Yeah.
What is a caboose? What is a
The back.
caboose?
So this is the last car on the train,
Oh,
where the
okay.
brakeman who's in charge of the train rides. So this one, yeah, you see that's called a cupola.
Okay.
He can stand up in there and he can look the whole distance of the train.
Okay.
To see what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is way back of the train.
Yeah, well, let's see. There's a platform on either end, so they could tow this from either end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But usually this would be the front end and that would be the back end.
Okay.
But it could be towed the opposite way.
Yeah.
We're going to cross through here and go up the other
Come
side.
on, Josie. Come on.
Bye.
Bye. Come on, Jacob. Come with me.
Attention, son.